Justin Malialis, and this is my submission to David Geary for our What Would the Ancestors Do project. So, I'd like to first begin with the fact that, our ancestors are definitely an important part of our history, but they're also a very old part of our history. In order for something to be my ancestor, they would have to have been related to me and in the same generation of my great great grandparents or older. So, born at least 100 years ago, could go back much, much longer than that, thousands of years ago. So, one thing that I like to think about when I think about ancestors is that we're never going to be the same way as them. So, we can't keep trying to be the same way as them or applying their lessons or the way that we have to live. But what we can take a look at is some of the reasons behind their cultural way of living. So for me right now, the topic of my conversation is going to be applied specifically to meat, fish and land animals, meat, red meat, white meat, all those delicious types of meat that we like to grill and saute and deep fry today. Back in the day, they would have to eat meat. There's no question about it. There wasn't advanced agricultural systems. There wasn't, the same nutritional technology or same nutritional understandings that we have of our bodies today. There wasn't irrigation systems like could provide water for a field to grow a maximum amount of food, enough to, feed a population. But the other thing they had back then was a true connection to the things that they needed to eat, like the meat. They didn't just treat meat like it was their food to eat. They knew it was part of the environment. They knew that there was other animals that ate the meat. They knew that it was part of this natural ecosystem. Therefore, they were very sustainable about it. They didn't eat more than they needed. And, they took as much of that animal as possible and turned it into some other functional piece of their existence, such as furs. But now in our culture today, I think an ancestor from those days, if they were brought back to life now, would take a look at our industries for meat and think, there's absolutely no reason for this. First of all, most commercial livestock production requires some of the largest amounts of water consumption in the entire planet. To put it into perspective, 1 pound of conventionally grown meat can use up to 2,000 liters of water just to feed just for the feed, for the cow to drink, and also for what they use in the livestock production facilities as far as sanitation methods and cleaning. So that seems like a lot. Also, the ethical raising of the animals these days, even at its highest standards, doesn't really treat meat as a necessity for human beings that really need to eat it. It's providing a business to sell meat and profiteer off of humans that actually think they need to eat meat to survive. And in this modern day, we really don't. We could eat vegetables. We could have a plant-based diet. We've got the nutritionists and the scientists to back it now. So I think if the Aboriginal ancestors came back to us today with a great idea for us for the future, they'd say, okay, it's time to start being vegetarian. And it's time to start capitalizing on what might be the next generation of food industry, because the world is going to catch up to itself. And once there's no more land to farm, once there's no more land for cows and no more water to feed them, we're going to have to look for alternative sources. And I think that vegetarianism is the way to go. So thanks for listening to my submission. I'm sorry it was so late, and if it doesn't seem perfect, this is easily my 1,000th time going through this, and I'm trying to do it all in one big take because I'm no good at editing. And thank you, David, for being a wonderful teacher. I think that I learned a lot from you, even though I wasn't at class as often as I liked. And it was really fun. You're a cool guy. So thank you, and hopefully I'll see you in some future semester. Bye-bye.